these are all the books of my physical TBR. So today I wanted to do a video about all of the physical books I have on my TBR. Some of these books I have had for years and just never touched them. Some of them I got recently. Don't tell Nick. Don't tell Nick. I've been buying up a lot of books lately. I just think you get on social media, you get on Bookstagram or Booktube or Book Talk, and someone recommends you a book and you feel like you have to have it, even though you know you're not going to get to it in the next 3 weeks. But still. So here are all of the physical books I have on my TBR. So here's, by the way, don't mind all of the trash back here. This room is where we just put all the stuff we have no clue what to do with. So just don't mind what's happening back there. So I'm going to start with the book I think is the oldest on my TBR, and that is Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrow. I brought this book with me to work one time, and I was having a slight cold, and so I brought Dayquil with me, and it spilled in my bag. So there's that, but still, this is the oldest book I have in my TBR. I was always interested in sort of the coverage of the Me Too movement. I noticed that a lot of the books that I read having to deal with some of these topics are ones that I find really entertaining. It's definitely a book that I want to read. I'm really into nonfiction, and so I definitely want to get into this book. Like I said, it's been through a lot. I didn't even notice there was a cut on the side here. Wow, this book has been through a lot, and so I definitely think it needs to be read. I don't know where to put them. The next books I have on my physical TBR are both by Roxane Gay, and one of them is Bad Feminist and the other is Difficult Women. This one is a book I got in grad school that I never got the opportunity to finish. And so it's a book that talks about feminism, sort of modern day feminism, and it is something I'm definitely very interested in, and hopefully I can get to it. And then another one of her books is Difficult Women, and it's a book of short stories. I'm not halfway through, but it's been years since I've read this book, so I'm hoping to finish it. It was really, really good from what I remember. I think at this time I just really wasn't reading consistently, and so hopefully I can get to this book. The next one is She Started It. I got this as a book of the month pick when I had book of the month. And it's a thriller, and I believe it's about these girls who knew each other when they were younger. And I don't remember much about what this book is about, but I know they're all on an island, and then there happens to be a fight to the death or something. I'm not sure, but I know it's a thriller, and I know some people had some mixed opinions about it, but I think it will be interesting. I'm not so much of a tough grader when it comes to books or thrillers. Just as long as I'm entertained, the book is fine. Or as long as there's no glaring, awful things like racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia. As long as there's nothing like that involved, I think a book is good. So we'll see how I feel about this one. The next one on my physical TBR. So I have this one and this one from Kennedy Ryan. So this is The Kingmaker, which is the first book in this series. I forget what this series is called. This is the first book, The Kingmaker. And then I have Blockshot. I've read Longshot, and I thought Longshot was one of the best romances I read all year. It was very tough. It was a very tough read, but at the same time, Kennedy Ryan knows how to break your heart and heal it again. So this is the second book, and hopefully I'm hoping to just get the whole series. I read the first book through an ARC, so I got it digitally. So I'm hoping that I can get all 3 books so I can annotate them, because I wasn't able to annotate the ARC. So hopefully this one I will annotate, as well as Longshot, and then the third book as well. But these are my 2 books from Kennedy Ryan. I think she's just such a great romance writer, and Longshot was one of the best romances I've ever read, so I had to get 2 of her other books. And I got to meet her, and she signed this one, so that's nice. Other 2 books I have on my TBR, which I kind of started this one, but I didn't finish it, is Twisted Hate and Twisted Games. I know this is the second book. I've read Twisted Love. This is the second book, and this is the third book. I don't have the fourth book because I didn't know if I was gonna like the entire series. So for some reason, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like the entire series, but I'm just gonna buy the other two books just in case. I don't know. So I know Twisted Games, it's like a bodyguard and princess type of romance. And then I know with Twisted Hate, I believe it's the brother. What am I saying? The brother of the sister in Twisted Lie? What? The brother in Twisted Love, and also the sister's best friend's romance. Does that make any sense? I don't think it did, but that's fine. I heard it was good. I heard these are two of people's favorites out of the series. I actually liked Twisted Love. I thought it was good. So, but I hear these two are better, so makes me excited. The next one I have is Bunny by Mona Awad. I've heard good things about this book. I hear it's very weird and twisted, and those are the type of books that I'm into. I tried to attempt to read this, but I feel like when I attempted to read it, I really wasn't in the headspace for the weirdness that was going to be involved in this book. So I kind of feel like I didn't really give it a chance. I only read like 5 pages, so it wasn't a DNF. It was just more like, oh, not for now. I know this one is like a scholarship student who prefers the company of her dark imagination to that of most people. Samantha Heather Mackey is utterly repelled by the rest of her graduate fiction writing cohort at New England's elite foreign university. As Samantha plunges deeper and deeper into the bunnies' world and begins to take part in their monstrous experiments, the edges of reality begin to blur. Soon her friendships with Ava and the bunnies will be brought into a deadly collusion. So yeah, bunnies is also on my physical TBR. And going with that same theme of like weird books, I guess, at least the books that I've heard are weird, is Big Swiss. I remember, if you ever followed Jordy's book club, you ever followed him? He has really great recommendations. He reads so many books, and a lot of his recommendations are just fantastic. And so he recommended this book, I think like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. It had been on my reading list since forever. And then I went to Barnes and Noble recently and had the paperback, and I really prefer a paperback over a hardback. So I picked it up. I believe it follows, she works for a sex therapist, I believe, like transcribing. And then there's this one person that she nicknames Big Swiss that I think she becomes obsessed with. It is a bold, outlandish, and filled with irresistible characters. Big Swift is both a love story, examining about mental health, sexual stereotypes, and more, for an amazing, talented, singular voice in contemporary fiction. So I've heard good things about this book. I'm excited to read it. I hear there might be a TV show or a movie or something like that, which is always great. So my microphone just cut out for the last like 20 minutes of what I was talking. That's my fault. My microphone just died. So we're going to film some of these over again. So the next book I'm going to talk about is Never by Jessa Hastings. So I've heard some like controversial things about this book. And here's the thing. I'm one of those people to where I don't like to commentate on a book or whether or not someone should read it until I have read it. I know some people absolutely love this book and some people did not like the weirdness of this book. So I know this book has had some mixed reviews. I'm also interested in reading Jessa Hastings' other book, the Magnolia Park series, but I really want to get the original covers. I'm not a fan of those feet ones. So I'm hoping to get the original covers, but I think this cover is just absolutely beautiful. I believe it follows like Wendy's granddaughter, Daphne, who Peter Pan was supposed to come for her when it was like her 13th birthday or come to take her to Neverland, and he never did. I think he finally does come, and she's a little bit older, and he finally does come to take her to Neverland, and she realizes that he's maybe not the man she thought he was. And then it also, like, she meets Captain Hook, and there might be like a romance happening there. I'm not exactly sure, but I thought that one of in itself was pretty interesting. Just checking to make sure my microphone is on this time. I thought it sounded interesting. I just wanted to check it out for myself. I'm kind of one of those people to where I will take people's opinions and take it as a warning, but I also like to have my own opinions about things before I pass whether or not I'm going to read a book or whether or not I liked something or not. I noticed that like in the past I can be like easily influenced, and so I just have to check things out for myself to see if I like them. That's how I feel about Never. So I think I'm definitely hoping to check this out this year. Another book that I got a while ago was Holly Jolly Diwali by, I think it's Sonia Lalid. This book I got around Christmas because it sounded really interesting, and I'm hoping this probably is going to be one of those books that I read around Christmas time. I was really interested because I loved those stories about women who usually follow the rules, who break those rules to do things that, they've always been wanting to do. As somebody who follows the rules a lot myself, I love those kinds of stories because I relate to them. And so that's why I was interested in reading this book, and I'm still interested in reading it. I know some people say they don't like it, but I'm really interested in this story, and I'm probably going to read it around Christmas time. It's January, so this book probably won't get read till towards the end of the year. But just know it's on my TBR, and I have some holiday reads. And then this book, I heard people really love this series. I haven't heard them so much talk about the first book, but I know people love this series, and that is Addicted to You. I think it is so pretty when I see people's shelves and they have the entire series, because I really love like the way the spines look all together. I only have the first book. I didn't get all the books in the other series like I've done with other things, but the synopsis is: no one would suspect shy Lily Calloway's biggest secret. While everyone is dancing at college bars, Lily stays in the bathroom to get laid. Her compulsion leads her to one-night stands and steamy hookups, an event she shamefully regrets. The only person who knows her secret happens to have one of his own. Lauren Hale's best friend is his bottle of bourbon. Lily comes a close second. For 3 years, they pretended to be in a real relationship, hiding their addictions from their families. They master the art of concealing flasks and random guys who filter in and out of their apartment. But as they sink beneath the weight of their addictions, they cling harder to the destructive relationship and wonder if life together, for real, is better than a lie. Strangers and family begin to infiltrate guarded lives. With new challenges, they realize they may not be addicted to just alcohol and sex. Their real vice may be each other. I really like those books that deal with tougher topics, or books that deal with real life topics. Of course, I love books that are fluffy, that have everything wrapped up and it's perfect by the end. But I also love like books like Lauren Asher's Final Offer, where yes, you're getting this beautiful love story, the second chance romance, but then you're also getting someone who's struggling with real life stuff, someone who isn't perfect. And I think that what's perfect about these books is it shows that just because you may be struggling with something, or something you may be dealing with that's very personal, you still deserve to have that happy love or that happy romance in your life if you want it, And so that's something that I think this book is giving. I'm excited to read it. I hear people absolutely love this series, and I'm a sucker for hearing about what other people love. So I chose this one. This one I got as a Illumicrate Afterlight book. So it has those beautiful sprayed edges, and it's called Second Chance in Newport Stephens. And it follows Eli Ward, who is a comedian and a writer for TV, and something happens that threatens his livelihood, or threatens, the life that he's built for himself. So he comes back to the town that he grew up in, which is Newport Stephens, Florida. And when he comes back, he meets up with his old boyfriend, who has a child and their own business, and he's doing his own thing. And so I think the story will be really interesting. I really love second chance romances because I just really love the idea of people getting a second chance to be with the person that they're supposed to be with. Also, they have these beautiful foil on the front that I think is just so beautiful, and also with the sprayed edges. Well, this is my second special edition book, and it's just gorgeous. I think this one also takes place around Christmas, but I think I'm probably going to read it before Christmas because I just really, really want to read the story. So, here it is. Another book, this one probably will get read around Christmas, is In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. Now listen, I hate mass paperbacks. I hate the way they look. I just don't like mass paperbacks. I don't discriminate. I'm just not the biggest fan myself of the way they look. But when me and Nick went to Sam's Club, he said, you can get a book, but it has to be under $10. Mass paperbacks are the only ones under $10. I was set up to fail. I got In a Holidays by Christina Lauren because it was the only mass paperback authors I recognized. So I got this one a while ago, and again, it probably won't be read until around Christmas time. But I believe this is one of those books that's like a Groundhog Day type of book where it's like the same thing happens over and over again until something changes, and then they finally move on to what everything is about. So I think this is what In a Holidays is about. I've never read a book that does the Groundhog Day sort of like storyline. And so I'm excited to check this one out and see if I like it, see if I like that kind of story. I know I like it in movie form. I don't know if I'm gonna like it in book form, but I'm excited to see how I feel about it. Now, this next book, my coworker gave it to me because she said that she was supposed to be a part of a book club and they were supposed to read it. And then she didn't really like the book, so she never read it. She wasn't really interested in even reading about it. So that is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And here's the thing about this book. If you ever watch Stephanie Sue, I'm obsessed. I love her. I love everything she puts out. I'm always there. One of the first people to view it. Love her. But actually probably not one of the first ones, but I never miss a video, okay? She did a baking a mystery. I think she did a baking a mystery on this book. And so for me, I'm like, oh, I've already read it. I've already read it. So like, I don't need to read this book. But she also encourages you to also pick up the book and read it for yourself. So now that I have it for free, I'm probably just gonna like pick up and read it. I hear the entire series is good and people really love it. There's also a prequel to this book, and I hear there's other books after this one, so I probably should just check it out. I'm going to. And I got this book for free. Also, side note, I got this book for my little sister as like a gift, like to get her into reading. Right, she's like 14. I don't think, like, I know she's all the way in Texas, but I already know that book is somewhere sitting in a corner collecting dust. I know you, Gabby. You have not read that book because she's very busy. She's a busy girl, so she's probably never even picked up this book. Like a part of me is like, oh, maybe me and Gabby could tandem read this book. She's not going to. She's not going to want to read this book with me. I'll probably finish this book before she does. Yeah. Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Also my physical TBR. Another book on my physical TBR is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. When we were in Europe, I love Emily Henry's books, but I love the UK covers more than I like the American covers. So when I saw this in the UK, I was like, oh, I have to get it, even though I could have just ordered it through Waterstones, but I want it to be difficult. Yeah, I got the UK version or UK cover version of Book Lovers. I heard this is people's favorite Emily Henry book, and I've read Happy Place, and I thought Happy Place was so beautiful and touching. I know some people did not like Happy Place. It was my second favorite book of the year. I hear this one is more, her other books have more banter, but I hear that if you liked Happy Place, you're probably gonna like her other books as well. So I'm excited to read Happy Place by Emily Henry. Another book is King of Wrath by Anna Huang. I keep buying her books even though I have only read Twisted Love. I think it's the marketing. Every single time I go on TikTok, someone is pulling up a quote from one of her books and I'm like, oh my God, that sounds so good. And then I pick it up and then it sits on my TBR. So Anna Huang has my money. I just haven't read her book yet. What's up with that? Yeah, this is another book, King of Wrath. I believe it's a King of Sin series. I know with her books, it's like they're all standalones, but they're interconnected. So it's best to start from like Twisted Love and go forward. Even though you could just like jump around, it's best to start with Twisted Love and go forward. I hear even some of the things in the King of Sin series, some of it relates back to the Twisted series. So that's why I'm just going to, this book's probably going to sit on my shelves for a little bit until I read the entire Twisted series. She has my money. Her books sit on my TBR. I don't know. This book I've had since grad school, and it was like a culture and media studies class. So it was a book where we were learning about cultural politics in Britain. I don't know. It was a book, that class didn't make any sense. I'm not gonna lie. And I barely passed it. Actually, it was during COVID, so like they were barely grading. Anyway, White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Now I've heard such great things about this author, but I have seen nobody talk about this book, and it makes me nervous. And again, listen, I don't have to wait till someone talks about a book for me to want to read it, but I just want to know what is going on in this book. I have no clue. If you have read this book, let me know. Do you like it? Is it good? I know nothing about it. And if you don't like it, I will definitely get rid of it. If I know nothing about it, I hear it's good, but then again, I hear it's good, but then I hear absolutely nothing about it. I don't know what this book is about. I got it in grad school for a class I didn't like, so I don't know. Next is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, I read Malibu Rising, Seven Husbands, and Daisy Jones. And I hear they're all in the same universe. So Carrie Soto was the last book in this universe I have not read. And I think it was because in the beginning of my reading journey, I read so much Taylor Jenkins Reid that I had to tell myself to stop. You know how when you eat certain food over and over and over again, you have to tell yourself to stop because you know you get sick of it? That's how I feel about Taylor Jenkins Reid, right? I had to take a break. I was like, I have to take a break from this author. So I've heard really good things. As you can see, I started to read it, but then I didn't finish it. But I've heard such good things about this book. I hear from people who don't even like tennis, that they really enjoyed this book. But then I also hear that some of the Spanish that she tries to use in this book is real cringy. And I'm not into that. I'm not into cringy Spanish. So I'm not sure. I think I'm probably gonna read it because I have it, right? But I hear people really, really love it. And I love a good sports comeback story. So remember the Titans, we'll see. I probably will get to it this year. Next. I talked about this book a little bit earlier, but my mic decided to cut off, so I'm gonna talk about it again. It's Flawless by Elsie Silver. I have heard so many good things about the Chestnut Spring series, and I am a sucker for good TikTok marketing. So I've heard so many good things. So I only got the first book. Let's see if I like it. I hear it's a cowboy romance. Besides knowing it's a cowboy romance, I know nothing else about this book. I'm interested, in learning. I know that it's like a cowboy romance. I think one was a bull rider, one was a hockey player. That's all I know about it. Yeehaw. I think I keep saying I'm excited. Take a shot every single time I say I'm excited about something. I really want to get into more romance series or interconnected series. I really loved Lauren Asher's books and how they were all interconnected, happening in the same universe. So I'm looking for more of that, and I think this series will give me that. And last but not least is Cleat Cute by Meryl Wilsner. I got this book also as a special edition from Illumicrate and Afterlight. As you see, it's those beautiful sprayed edges with like a soccer ball right there. And so I think this is like a sports rivals to lovers romance. Again, what I love about Illumicrate is they just have the most beautiful end pages. Just beautiful. And then it has like the foil on the inside. I love having special edition romance books because those are the books that's the genre I read the most besides thrillers. And I know there's not a ton of like thriller special edition services. And so with my second favorite genre of romances, I'm always happy to get special editions. But I'm excited to read this one. I love the idea of a sports rival to romance situation. And I think this book will be really good to read for the summer. Other books that I have on my TBR, right now I'm reading Chanel Miller's book, Know My Name. That book is gut-wrenching, it's frustrating, it's Chanel Miller's writing is just so beautiful and poetic, and she is the survivor who was assaulted by Brock Turner. And so her story is, of course, gut wrenching, it's heartbreaking, but also her writing is absolutely beautiful and poetic. It's probably one of my favorite biographies I've ever read. It follows her life before the assault, after the assault, and during the trial. And it will leave you absolutely, it leaves you with hope, but it also leaves you frustrated, but you also walk away with just like a better understanding of a survivor's story, a better understanding of Chanel, a better understanding of her family, her upbringing, and the strength that she had to draw from to go through something like that, but to make it out on the other side. She's just such an inspiration and a great artist. You should check her out on Instagram. She's a great artist. I believe she just wrote a children's book. Could be wrong, but I think she just wrote a children's book, and yeah, she's just amazing. And so that's the book that I'm reading currently. And then another book that I'm planning on, that I'm getting, that's not coming till tomorrow, is Hunting Adeline. And of course I made a vlog about, or reading vlog about Haunting Adeline, but this one is Hunting Adeline. It's part of the Cat and Mouse duet, because I want to do another reading vlog of reading Hunting Adeline. And then in February, H.D. Carlton is releasing Molly's Game. I believe that's what it's called. And Molly's Game follows, I think, something that a person or a character that's in Hunting Adeline, I believe. And so I saw the trailer for it. I believe it's with Hawk. Did like the trailer with it with H.D. Carlton, and it sounded really, really good. And I love stories like that. And I thought Haunting Adeline was really good. So I'm planning on reading Hunting Adeline. There'll be another vlog for Hunting Adeline, and then hopefully another one when Molly's Game comes out. But yeah, those are all the books I have on my physical TBR. Or we're not going to talk about the fact that I have also other books on audio and other books on my Kindle as well. Yeah, those are all the books I have on my physical TBR. Is there any books that I should start with, or any books that you're interested in? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching.